Welcome to the Student Orientation 2022 for the Colombo Intake Group, the Board Study in Biostatistics and the Board Study in Food Science and Technology. Students are this time coming in with the new hopes, new ideas, thinking about new career goals, thinking about promotions, thinking about getting their qualifications higher and knowledge level higher and the capabilities higher. So with all these positive ideas, with a lot of issues at home and home front with the financial issues, the family issues, and all kinds of employment issues and the logistic difficulties with everything. You have come in here just to improve yourself while all of your friends most of your friends have decided not to pursue any postgraduate work, which means they are going to stay there as they are, with the bachelor's qualifications while you are climbing up the ladder. So you have made the right decisions, although it's tough in Sri Lanka with all the family issues, as I said, the economic difficulties, the employment job issues are coming in. Because most of you are young people, and when you are young and joining as a new employee to a company, they don't sometimes give you even leave on Saturdays and Sundays, and so it's going to be difficult sometimes for people like you. And with some of you have babies, sometimes you get babies during the master's period. Some people get married, all kinds of issues coming, the parents' issues. It's tough, but if you hang on tight, eventually you will get your master's degrees, and that's the only way. That's the only way, because the situation is not going to get better if you keep thinking that in the future you are getting some nice time period to do master's degree or postgraduate. That most of the time that will not come. Always we will have different kinds of issues with families. The getting married, having children, then attending the children's duties, then the parents get old and they attend to their things, then the job issues are there, your own issues are there, the economic issues are there. So with all these difficulties, they do not go away very much unless you get your promotions and get your economic stability through higher educations and hard work. And so anyway, we can go on. And you have taken the right decision, while some of the others may have thought like postgraduate education is not very difficult. It's fun. It's gaining more knowledge and really, when you are starting your career, if you remember your advanced level situations, and you try to go into different, your target was probably higher than what you got in, because finally the UGC decides. Like according to the Z scores and the qualifications, which faculty that you are supposed to go in, which may not be your favorite, but that's the way it had been. Postgraduate education is not like that. UGC is not going to push you into one kind of a field. You have decided. That's the difference. You have decided to move on to biostatistics, for example, or applied statistics, or food and nutrition, or food science and technology. It's you who decide this time, and you are now more knowledgeable than the A-level, poor A-level students who just listen to their teachers from rural areas and others. Sometimes even the teachers, we know many of those teachers are also our students, my own students, and they are sometimes graduates from the faculties, but they just only have the first degree. And so they cannot really, and they end up becoming teachers, and sometimes they don't know the avenues in the international arena what kind of scholarships, what kind of ways that you can move on to USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Japan, Korea, even China nowadays, and a lot of different things that opening up in the field. It's like climbing up a mountain. When you are there, try to climb up a mountain, you are in a village, and all you can see is the trees and things around the village and the houses around the village. When you go through the forest up to the mountains, then it is a forest and it's difficult. But when you climb up and up and up and up and up, you get to see above the tree level, above the forest level, above the rocks, above the teeny mountains in the village. You can kind of see what other villages are, how the other things are doing. Even sometimes you can see almost the whole district areas that depending on the height of the mountain. And you're getting to see all these things when you go up and up and up. Sometimes it is harder, but it is rewarding. It is pleasant. It's fun. It's you feel good about yourself. You feel like you are above the others. You feel like you are achieving something. You feel good about yourself. That is one of the most important things. That when happiness sometimes comes from feeling good about yourself and feeling proud about yourself. And once you get a master's degree, nobody can take it out from you. Nobody can take it out from you. And after getting a master's degree, let's say like you throw away all your lecture notes, never read any lecture notes, and but degree will stay there. So even when your children climb up the ladder, they will do A-level, they might go to universities, or they might go to some private universities somewhere. Most of them, when they become like in 20 years down the road, most of them will be doing master's degrees. Right now, master's degrees is something that everybody is doing almost, because the bachelor's degree, the competition is so high that the bachelor's degrees may not be even sufficient sometimes. So a lot of students, even the students that we take, fresh graduates, and we take into temporary staff as demonstrators or assistant lecturers. Many of them try to finish a master's degree during their 1 year of tenure here as on temporary basis. So when they go to a job, they already have a master's degree. Because the master seems like it's really required nowadays due to the intense competition. And many of my friends, many of my students are my friends. And even today I have some meetings with some students who are coming from New Zealand. Now they are doing PhDs there. And they were here and they were doing a master's at the PGIA, and they want to come and tell me that they got the opportunity to do the PhD in abroad, and they are very happy. And that's because they got the master's from the PGIA. So when you climb up the ladder, you can see a lot of things, and you can even guide your students, your family, and your friends, and all your followers. Where you can be a mentor, and so that's where your social status is. That's where your happiness is. That's where your pin or kusal is. Whenever you help somebody else up in their life. So coming back to, okay, we get diverted due to these disturbances. These disturbances will come in my this talk, because people will be joining right now. We have about 83 students coming in, which is a good number actually. And thank you for coming in. And we are preparing for the general convocation at the university right now for the last batch. Without being like really formal as a director, I will talk to you more as a friend, or more as a mentor, or more as a storyteller. And you may not have seen me, but when the situation gets better, if we can start with the on-ground classes, I will see you at the KDU, and you can talk to me. I teach some courses there for the STAT group, like animal experimentation, like courses. But that course is in the second semester, I think.
But usually, so you can meet me and you can discuss with me if we have on-ground classes. But I don't know whether this time we will go more into online or not. I'm not 100% sure about the future. Even the authorities or the government is not 100% sure about the future. So, but so we have to be flexible and still pursue, still pursue, still pursue, still continue, and somehow get our job done under these uncertain situations. This time convocation is going to be on 30th and 31st, which means like Tuesday and Wednesday. We could not have on-ground communication for a long time. COVID crisis came, and then we had all these fuel shortages, electricity issues, and all these political unrest and things are going on. But now we are going to have this communication. You might not know that there are many students apply for master's degrees at the PGIA, and but some of them don't get qualified, or some of them don't get selected because of the rigorous standards that we maintain at the PGIA. For example, I don't want to mention the institutes, but we have many private kind of places where they say like they have jointly offering degrees jointly with some foreign universities like UK universities and places. And actually, they are sometimes it's nominal. They are not really offering through those ones. I mean, they are, of course, I mean, officially maybe they are, but the teachers and others are not them. The teachers and others are mostly, local. And local means they are not even sometimes the university level teachers. There are some people found around Nugegoda areas. They are the area of Mahargam. So, but sometimes when you look at their transcripts are not so good. And their credits and things that they claim as credits are not really structured credits. So all this kind of degree awarding institutions are there now. In Colombo, I don't know how much you know, but there are more than 200 degree awarding institutes. If you pay, they give. But when they come to do postgraduate, they want their postgraduate degree from a prestigious institute. So that like University of Peradini, like Postgraduate Institute of Agriculture, so that they can be claimed as really qualified, and they can be claimed as they are above the agriculture, BSc agriculture graduates from Peradini. I mean, that's what you get when you finish a master's degree at the PGIE. And but we look at their qualifications, and we have something called boards of study. I will explain those things later. And we have 11 boards of study, and based on those ones, they'll really look at your qualifications, and some applications get rejected. So what I want to say is congratulations. Congratulations to all of you, because you have been selected for this food science and technology stream or the biostats stream. As I told you earlier, that this time you have selected this stream, knowing that this is your favorite area, or maybe this is the job that you are doing right now, or you are planning to do, or you are planning to pursue your career in. And so, which means you like this one. So we want you to get the best out of this. So we want you to use this opportunity, not just to get some tag like MSc without any knowledge or something. This is not just to get some label. I always tell my students, like, imagine some of you may know how to drive a car. Some of you must be driving a car right now. You may have owned a car right now and driving to work and other places every day. And some of you may have a motorcycle, and you must be using that motorcycle everywhere.
I'm telling about the newcomers who try to get the motorcycle license or the car license. And some of them try to get the motorcycle license, and it's difficult. When you are at the beginning, it's difficult. You probably remember it was difficult, but not difficult now. Those who have license know it's not very difficult now. It's like second nature now. But in the beginning, sometimes you have to, that go with this uh, the trials with the examiners, and they ask you to do all these like different shapes of things, and you have to reverse the cars, and you have to do all these kind of things to pass. And some people just barely get through, and they think like, okay, that's enough for me with the motorcycle. I'm not going to touch this motorcycle. Now I have the license. Now I have the license. That's like graduation. Now I have the license. So I'm done. I'm done. No more motorcycle. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that this motorcycle license is just to get the license? Is that what you want? Or you want to ride the motorcycle to work and take your children around, or get all the work done from the home, or use your car? Isn't that the idea? So some people think getting a master's degree is the thing, getting a PhD is the thing, and then we finish. That's all we do. That's all we don't need anything more. So I just don't want the knowledge. I just want to copy notes from some of my friends, or just get the recording from somebody, or get the WhatsApp from somebody, or just in there's an online exam or on-ground exam. I just want to survive and pass, and so get this degree, which may be useful for my promotion. So maybe instead of efficiency by examination, I may be able to use this master's degree. And that's not what it is in the beginning. When you try to get the driver's license, that is how many of the people think. That's natural. But once you get the driving license, it's difficult to drive a car when you just get the license. That is the same with the master's degree. With the masters, it is not, you are not still professional, but using the master's knowledge and using at your work or places, or doing research, publishing papers, using that knowledge in the lab analysis and in your work. All those things help. And when you ride the motorcycle more and more, it becomes like we call that second nature. Second nature means some people even answer the phone calls while riding the motorcycle. And some people answer the phone calls and listen to music while driving the car, and ask the children not to shout in the back. So they even solve the issues, the life issues while driving the car. You get to that level. You get to that level by using your knowledge. So don't just think like there are places where I am saying is there are places. I don't want to mention the names because that other places is not my business. But you are at the stage of comparing right now and making choices right now. There are places where you can get the degrees easily because they are mostly for money, and they just it's like profit making. So the lecturers get highly paid because a lot of students are there, and we are not that kind of people. We are the oldest university in the university system. It's really beautiful in Peradeniya, and Peradeniya was selected by Sir Ivor Jennings in 1940s, when there was no higher education in this country. No degrees were awarded in like 1930s, and but the people with the rich background, people, I don't want to mention the surnames of the people, but you know the people who were leaders. And when you look back at their background at that time, the Sri Lankan leaders, their degrees are from Cambridge, Oxford, and the law degrees and things like that. and their families could afford to send them through the ship to England and other places to get their degrees and barrister, like higher level degrees, high degrees as well. But nowadays the education is free. That's the idea that they had something called higher higher education committee in Colombo. They thought like Sri Lankans. Now they are getting freedom, and Sri Lankans need education, higher education. That's how they started with the University of Ceylon. It was in Colombo for a while, and then this Ivo Jennings, he was a really nice person, very dedicated person, and he came to Kandy and other places, and he was searching the ground area, and he looked at the whole area from Pallekele to Hantana and down here, and he found Hantana hill is up there, and the Mahaveli river is down here. I know you are Colombo intake and you are not coming much to Peradeniya, but we want you to come. We want you to come to the convocation, and we want you to come to the graduations, and I will be sitting here. I'll be sitting here and calling names, and so that the vice chancellor will be garlanding, or the chancellor will be garlanding. All these top people here at the upstage are the deans and the directors of postgraduate institutes. We have 4 postgraduate institutes. One is the agriculture, another one is science, another one is humanities and social sciences, and very recently we started the postgraduate institute of medicine now in Peradeniya. It's just recently started. But the agriculture, the postgraduate institute, is the oldest postgraduate institute in the country. We started in 1970s, and that's the oldest. So when Igogen is found this place, he came through the helicopter and his Volkswagen car and found this place. This is a really nice place with the nice climate, with the Mahaveli River down here and Rantan Hill up there. A really nice conducive environment for education, and he used the architects and followed the architecture of Anuradhapura and all these other places, and he decided to build the student hostels, the faculties, the Senate buildings, everything according to this Polonnaru architecture, the Madani architecture, and Anuradhapura architecture. When you visit these places, if you know your history, if you know about the architecture in 10th century or the 16th century, you can really see how these things are and how these built. Even the Senate building is totally built on columns. So it's not starting from the ground. If there are columns, and the whole Senate building is 3-story buildings, it's above the columns, and that's a real nice architecture there. So the University of Peradeniya is ranked as 10 most naturally scenic universities in the world. Naturally scenic because it is not artificial, because we don't have money. We don't right now have even money to cut the grass or paint the buildings or repair the buildings. Many of the buildings are really old and they are like traditional architecture, but they need repairs now when the country is going through difficulty. So it's called scenic, naturally beautiful universities in the world. So please visit Peradeniya. Some of you may be from Peradeniya. So congratulations, and because I want to see you like in 1 year or 1.5 years down the road. I want all of you here. So we are not here as teachers to fail you. The examinations are not to fail you, but the examinations are to test you whether you reach the knowledge, and the teachers help you to get that barrier, through that barrier, and it's your duty to try. And we can take the horses to water, but we cannot make the horse drink water. Horse has to drink. There is nobody who can push the horse to drink water. That's what the teachers do. They take them to water. It's up to you how much you drink out of this one. and how fully fledged you become. The knowledge is power. If you know things that your friends don't know, if you know things that your family doesn't know, or your sisters-in-laws or brother-in-laws and other people don't know, they will respect you. That just happens. In any field, people respect. Even as a eighth grade bus driver who has no education or qualification, just below all level, when he drives that big bus, some children go and watch how he maneuvers through the traffic with such an ease, and people respect that kind of sense that I don't know how to do that, but this person is doing it. Knowledge is power. Knowledge gives you the respect, and so it's up to you to build your capabilities even beyond what the teachers say. Teachers can guide you. At the higher level, education level, teachers don't give you notes. Teachers guide you. It's you have to do a lot of we call now as student-centered learning. Earlier we called teacher-centered learning because teacher does all these nice presentations and everything, and we evaluate the teacher. But now they are called student-centered learning. So everything has to, in the future, everything will be like student doing by himself or herself, and the teachers are only guiding. When we develop the facilities, the whole country will be moving on to student-centered learning. So congratulations once again. What I want to do is like in 1 or 2 years down the road, I want to stand up here and call your name. I am the one calling the names. This is like podium here, and every one of your names, so you will be lined up and according to your numbers, and the Vice Chancellor will garland you. And all these communication things go in the YouTube, and it will be international. So your even batchmates and others living abroad can hear, can see that you are garland. And those graduation photographs will be there forever in your life. So congratulations that you selected this place, and you decided amidst of all your financial difficulties, amidst of all your family commitments, the job and everything, health issues, you have decided to do this one, while others are just wasting time, or they are maybe not wasting time, but the time will go by very fast, very fast. Imagine like when you finished your first degree and how long it has already gone. And that's how the time passed. It passed, it flies, because time flies very fast. And for them, the time will be just flown by. But for you, it's not. For you, it's like you will be using every minute, every second, and you will be climbing up the ladder, gaining knowledge and everything. So PGIA, although it's under the University of Peradeniya, originally, I mean, that the director, PGIA, is not appointed by the Vice Chancellor or the Council of the University of Peradeniya. It's directly appointed by the UGC. Why? Because we have to advertise in papers, and people all over the country can apply. Any kind of a director, even the central bank governor, anybody can apply as the PGIA director. I'm just telling you, this is a national institute, and so this is the only postgraduate institute available in the whole country, because it's a national institute. We have something called Board of Management, and in the Board of Management, all the agriculture deans in the country, I think except Uwe Dean is not yet included. All the other deans like the Eastern University Dean, Rome University Dean, Jaffna, Peradeniya, Sabragamuno, Payamba, all these deans are in the Board of Management Committee where the director is heading. So you can see this truly a national institute where the graduates from all these places apply for PGIA. The PGIA has the best collection
It's the oldest and it's the widest collection of degrees that we are offering. I will explain about the different degrees. You have already passed that place. So now the teaching panel is not only from the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya. The Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya is the mainstay. The faculty provides a lot of facilities for PGIA. But the faculty provides like about 70 to 80 PhDs coming in and helping the PGIA. But we are taking people from other universities also. They all can come. We call visiting lecturers. So everybody is a visiting lecturer. So they come for a 1 semester and teach. And the second semester, another group, sometimes the same group, but sometimes different people are coming in. Some people are from the research institutes, like Batalaguda Rice Research Institute, Coconut Research Institute, Tea Research Institute, Rubber Research Institute, Sugar Research Institute. All these people, there are people with PhDs and senior scientists, and they become teachers sometimes. And sometimes the companies, the industrial people with, of course, with postgraduate qualifications like PhDs, come in and they continue and they become teachers. So right now we have about 350 academics and professionals in agriculture are teaching you. So you can see how strong this is. Like in some universities, they offer a couple of master's programs, but not like the PGIA. PGIA is specialized for this one. Then if it is a national institute, then what does it have to do with the university? Because we are established under something called PGIA ordinance. So this should not be, we have to maintain the academic standards. So somebody has to monitor and maintain the academic standards of this institute. So if it is done only by the PGIA itself, it will be like we are teaching, we are having exams, we are passing them. So who is maintaining the standards? That's why the PGIA is kept under for all the academic matters. For all the academic matters, the PGIA is kept under the University of Peradeniya. So the degree is given by the University of Peradeniya, under the Vice Chancellor, under the Council, under the Senate. So all the teachers that we can get a teacher from Colombo working in an industry somewhere, but that teacher's biodata and CV has to go to the Senate, and the Senate looks at it carefully and approve. We just cannot, the director just cannot take absurdly people from different places, his own friends or something to run the place. Everything is monitored. The examination panels, the courses that we offer, everything is monitored by the Senate of the University of Peradeniya. So all these courses, if you try to offer like a new course, something like say like a big data analysis or something, if you offer a new course and that course, the capsule, everything has to go into the university academic ADPC, Academic Development and Planning Committee, and get their comments and the revisions and the approval, and then it goes to the the PGIA Board of Management, and then it goes to the university academic, the ADPC, then it goes to the university Senate. Senate is, we have about 250 professors and people in the Senate, and so that they debate on this one and they approve this one. Then only the PGIA can offer these programs. Actually, if it is a new one, now it has to go to Quality Assurance Unit in the UGC, and the UGC has to approve this one. So this is the whole process. So this is not just taking some money and just offering something, hiding in secret and giving some degrees, unrecognized degrees. The degrees are recognized by the all over the world and the Commonwealth universities and everywhere. All our master's degrees are highly regarded by the international community and the scientists and the universities. That's why many of our people with a master's degree, when they want to go to do PhD, they get selected very easily. They get selected very easily. Many of our graduates
with my MSc and MPhils end up doing PhDs abroad. So which means our degrees are recognized. There is no place I know have ever rejected our degrees, saying it is substandard or something. So it's highly regarded because our teachers, I think about 99% of our teachers are foreign graduates, including me. Like my um, first postgraduate is from the University of Edinburgh, from UK, and all my other the P up to PhD, everything is at the USA. So many of our people are like that, award-winning graduates. The scholars are teaching in this one, so the standards are pretty high here. So we are not just a black market, something that giving degrees for money. Unfortunately, there are places like that. So once you are part of the university, you can use the health center. This is like the arts faculty, that all those buildings. You can see like they are according to Canadian tradition. And during the normal times, it's really beautiful. With a lot of the flowers and trees. And all these architectures I was telling you about, this colonial traditions and other traditions, these were done by scholars. These are done by some people called like Abercrombie and Alvis. And there were many people who were really experts who used. This is that Sarat Chandra open air theater we call that's where the Singhabahu, Manami, and all these things were initiated here in Peradeniya. Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya is the backbone. The PGIA was evolved as the postgraduate arm of the Faculty of Agriculture, and PGIA uses most of the lecture halls of the faculty because the PGIA, the buildings are not sufficient to handle like 30 different master's programs. So when you are doing on-ground classes, we use them, and the laboratories, the PGIA doesn't have the laboratories. So like the molecular genetic laboratories, the engineering workshops, and the soil laboratories, the animal farms, all these things are the crop farms, all these things are the Faculty of Agriculture provides all these resources free of charge for the because it's the same university. It's the extension, it's the postgraduate arm of the Faculty of Agriculture. And all the boards of studies, the physical facilities are here. All the academics and other resources are provided by this one. And even the teaching panel, when you come into the board of management or any board of management representatives, and the internal members of the board of studies, we have 11 boards of study, and those were boards of study. They are nominated by the faculty board of the Faculty of Agriculture. So the Faculty of Agriculture pays a huge board. And the Faculty of Agriculture Peradeniya is the oldest the Faculty of Agriculture, so it's pretty strong backbone that the PGIA has. When the 1948, when we started this one, we tried to, the University of Peradeniya, we tried to give higher degrees, because if you want to become like a researchers, people have to, just bachelor's degree is not enough to build new rice varieties and come up with solutions to all the pests and diseases, and come up with dryers and farm machinery, designing those things, thinking about soil testing and biodiversity, the biochemistry, all these things. The level of knowledge of a bachelor's of science is not enough. So you need, as a research officer in a research institute, you need a master's degree or at least or best to have a MPhil or PhD. And so we called human resource development or manpower development, and that was the goal. But so during all this time, the faculty, the PGI was not there, and the faculty was trying to give the degrees, but only 20 students registered during this whole period, and only 5 graduated, and that was not enough for the whole student. That's not enough for the whole student. So what we did was under the Universities Act in 1978, there was a separate gazette. This is we call PGI Ordinance that happened in 1979, and under that the Postgraduate Institute of Agriculture was established. And so now we have there are like 30 different university programs offered by the boards of study. So they are under different boards like biology, economics. So, you can start from the soil level, and you see like they go to the soil level, to crop level, to animal level, to food level, to business administration, to economics, to statistics. It covers engineering. It covers everything. So it's a comprehensive coverage of 30 master's programs. And we are still coming up with this. For example, like under the crop science board of study, that board of study controls and attend to the issues of the teaching and the student request. So we offer masters like masters in crop science, floriculture and the landscape architecture, the environmental forestry, the plantation crops, that means like tea, rubber, coconut, like this. The horticulture, that's about the flowers, mostly, and they're not flowers, about the vegetables and other things. The floriculture is about the flowers, ornamental flowers and stuff. The horticulture is mostly about like the getting into the vegetables and the other things in the crops. And tropical agriculture is also a design as a degree for mostly for foreign students to come and learn all agricultural aspects in common and get an idea about what happens with here. And once you have this kind of crops, you can go to plant biology or conservation and plant breeding kind of thing. The physiology and the biotechnology is also a very favorite one. The masters in biotechnology we offer. And those ones with biostatistics right now, what we are doing is we have biostat and apply-stat. I know some of you have already registered or trying to register. If you have not registered, please register right now. Sometimes we have the pathology and the insect attacks. There are diseases and pest attacks. There are we call plant protection technology, molecular and applied microbiology. So these are 2 degrees offered by the plant protection. The food science, I know you know very well now, and deciding whether food and nutrition is good for you, or food science and technology is good for you. Within the first term, you can switch from one program to the other program. You can switch even across these 2 boards like biostat and food science, but you cannot, it's difficult to switch to Peradini programs. That's a little complicated. If you want to move from Colombo program to Peradini program, you have to apply early ahead because the prices, the economic side is quite difficult. The economic side is difficult in the sense since we are doing when we are doing in Peradeniya, there are no the traveling costs very much involved for the teachers, and the lecture rooms charges are not there. But when you are doing in Colombo, most of the time we do it in Kotala, the Defense Academy. They kindly accommodate us on a very low level fees, and because we are all government, and so they have really nice facilities that they have been hosting us. on a paid basis, of course, but they provide really nice service and very good. And but there is extra cost involved, so that the cost for like a food science and technology program in Colombo is higher than the cost involved with the food science and technology in Peradeniya. So when you move from one place to the other, it becomes financially it becomes like difficult to make the transfer because there will be some extra money left, so it becomes complicated. But if you really want, we can try to see how it moves. But if you want to take like one or two courses from Peradeniya, that is not possible to do because of these differences in cost structure. Extension. The extension is also important. We have organizational management MSc and development communication and extension. It's a very favorite one. When it comes to the marketing and the agriculture is an economic enterprise, definitely without any profits, the farmers cannot survive. The agri-business cannot survive. So you have to learn agri-farm. Environmental economics is also there. The natural resource management is also a very much of a favorite one because for so many people like the surveyors and people working in the lands and buildings side, even the people like engineers, quantity surveyors, and that kind of people are also involved in this natural resource management. So not only agriculture people, there are many people who are interested in NRM program. Ag engineering, we have the GIS and the geoinformatics program. We have something called agricultural and biosystems engineering. This one is kind of the natural extension right now for those the A-level students who are coming through the biosystems type of a stream. Traditionally, we had the mathematics stream and biology stream. Now we have biosystem stream, and they cover most of those biosystems engineering things, which involves quite a bit of mathematics, I see. Integrated water resource management talks about hydrology and the irrigation and the catchment areas and the land and water resource management. And we have a MBA program because we teach business. Agriculture is business, whether you like it or not. If you lose a poultry, if you are in a poultry farm, if your costs are higher than income, then you have to close down the poultry farm. If you are in a dairy cattle farm, even in a government dairy farm, if the cost is higher than the income, you have to close down. And guess, oh, you have to do something about it. This is business. Our MBA program is one of the oldest, if not the oldest. It's one of the very old. We started somewhere in the year 2000, even slightly before that. And so nowadays there are a lot of MBAs, but our MBA program offers like 35 credits instead of 25 credits. It's way beyond the Sri Lanka qualification network level minimum standards, the SLQ web standards. So this MBA is very useful. And it's a fun program, involves a lot of musical activities, group work, and a lot of fun activities they are doing together using their MBA association. Okay, so the animal science, yeah, I'm also working with we have masters in animal science. The aquaculture group is coming in. We call aquatic bioresource management and aquaculture. Poultry science and technology, almost all the top level people in the poultry sector are our graduates from PJE. Dairy and meat technology is where the sausage and the meat preparation and the curd, cheese, yogurt, and all that kind of preparation stuff is there. So there are many people who are working in the industry coming here. The soil science, we have the environmental soil science and the soil microbiology. So you can see how much of these things are covered in here. They are still trying to offer more degrees. They are still trying to offer more degrees in this and come up with better and more conducive, more amenable, more suitable master's programs, sometimes covering across board disciplines. Now you are the students here, and we have this big teaching panel here. And so we have this board of study. And with this, these boards of study, all these boards of study manage the master's programs under their board. So 30 master's programs are under 11 boards. So we have a chairperson, secretary, and all your requests should be sent to the director. And we divert it to the boards. And the boards decide whether to give you repeat exams or make up exams or changing courses or accepting the prerequisite courses, whether giving exemptions for some of these prerequisite courses and evaluating your application. Everything is done by the board of study. The board of study has the internal members that they are from the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya, and there are external members from outside that gives us the validity. Validities. Otherwise, this is kind of considered as our own little business, but these external members are from the industry and from the academia outside the Faculty of Agriculture. All these chairpersons and secretaries of the 11 boards get together and they call coordinating committee, and they come up with the decisions or the regulations which are kind of like parallel, or it's kind of like similar for all boards. So if we are giving an exemption for one board of study, we have to give that same exemption for all the other boards. If one rule applies for one board, it should apply for all the other boards. So the harmony and the similarity among all the boards are decided by the coordinating committee. The coordinating committee has 22 people, and all your requests, the permissions that granted by or recommended by the board of study goes to coordinating committee, and they discuss and they actually send to the board of management. Board of management, as I said earlier, is headed by the director, and coordinating committee also headed by the director. But as you see, like we have the deans from the Peradeniya, deans from Sabragamma, deans from Ruhne, Wayam, Jaffna, all these places, the eight deans are there in the board of management. Plus, there are people from all these boards of studies, representatives are there at the board of management. And we have even the Conservator General of Forest, the Director General of Department of Agriculture, the Director General of Department of Export Agriculture, the Treasury representatives are there, the UGC and the Ministry representatives are there, the accounting or chief accounting officers are there. Then UGC and nominate some elite people into the board of management. So our board of management is huge, like about 35 people. And they debate and discuss and approve the new regulations and things. And even some of your student requests may go all the way up to board of management for approval. So board of study recommends when you send the letter to the director. If the director can just solve it using existing regulations, it will be solved right away. Otherwise, it will be put into board of study, and the board of study debate about it and send it to the coordinating committee and the board of management. The board of management makes the decision. And we have something called audit and management committee, that's a separate one. And then we have a finance committee, that's another separate one. So all these committees are there to regulate. So from the board of management, like all your decrees and the teaching panel appointments and so on, go to the Senate of the University of Peradeniya. And they finally decide whether the degree should be awarded, and they recommend it to the council of the University of Peradeniya. The council is the one that gives you the confers or make the decision to confer the degrees that you are getting. So this is the basic structure, and above this one is the UGC. So all your requests, whenever you send, you have to send to the director. Otherwise, if you some people send to the secretary of the board of study, some people send to the chairperson, some people
into the DPT register, and then sometimes it gets mixed up and the channels get all mixed up. So it's better sent to the director postgraduate Ministry of Agriculture, old Galaha Road. This is the old Galaha Road that we are in, and University of Peradini, and it will come to me, and I will decide whether I can handle it alone or whether it has to go for recommendations from different levels, and I will direct your letters to these boards of study, to the board of management, to the finance committee, for the audits, and the auditors are there. So they have to improve. We are responsible for, we are sometimes asked by the COPE in the parliament to come and appear. So because all these financial involvements, they have to follow all the government circulars exactly. We have the boards of study, and the important thing is the Food Science and Technology Board of Study. We have Mr. Arampat and Professor Niranjan Rajapaksa, and this one, the STEP Board of Study. The Statistics Board of Study, we have Professor L.B. Surya, and all these informations are in what we call as the handbook, the Postgraduate Institute of Agriculture Student Handbook. I will tell about that one later. Right now, you are probably more interested in is the money issues, because each program takes money, and sometimes you can pay in full. If you can pay in full amount like 150,000 or 200,000, if you can pay the whole amount in full, you can get 10% discount, because it helps the PGI financial administration a lot once you make the full payment right away. So we give a 10% discount. So that means, like, if it is 150,000 is the total cost, 10% is 15,000. So you have to pay only 15,000 less than 150,000. That is 135,000. So you are getting benefited. But if you have financial difficulty, you can pay it like in 2 terms. Some people during the past asked us whether they can pay like on monthly basis, or like in 4 installments. And that was difficult for us because people like coming every day. We have thousands of students. Because master's program, the degree program is given about 5 years to finish. So some students are in the 5th year. So you can see the previous students are there and the new students are there. And the PhDs are sometimes given 8 years to finish. So you can see how many of the students are stagnating. Every year we take about 500, 550 like students. The number varies, and these days with the COVID and these difficulties, the numbers changed. But we always have quite high number of students, and the number of graduates usually graduating from the PGI is more than the undergraduate student number graduating from the Faculty of Agriculture. So you can see the huge community of thousands of students that we are handling at one moment. So when a student comes and try to pay like every month, it's going to be a huge financial hassle, and we don't know whether that student will stop paying at one point of time, or neglect, or withdraw, or leave, making a default. And we don't know what really happens with the students. So we cannot really move into this one. And even when I can, our finance committee involves the chief accounting officers from the UGC in our finance committee. They come from Colombo and attend our meetings here. So they do not allow the government, the treasury members do not allow us to run things like haphazardly.
They want to get the money and then decide whether if there is sufficient number of students, we offer the degree program. If there are not enough sufficient number of students, and then we cannot offer the degree program. Certain degree programs, rarely we sometimes decide like we cannot offer because only 1 or 2 students are there. If the lecturers do the lectures, you have to pay the lecturer the full amount, regardless of the number. If the number is like 2 students, or number is 30 students or 80 students, the teacher gets the same. So teacher has to be paid. So what happens is like because of that one, when the number of students are few, the number is low, then we have difficulty. Then we have difficulty paying the lectures. So certain programs, when the number goes below a critical level, that year we stop offering that program. Next year, maybe we can offer it like every other year. But most programs we offer every time. So we want the students to pay the full things, and now this is a big issue, especially like the young students have difficulty. The young students have difficulty making the payments. Some of them are still under the parents, and some have just got the jobs and not enough money. So these issues are there, and because of those things, we have talked to the Hatton National Bank, Sampath Bank, and Bank of Ceylon type places, and discuss with them about giving them credit cards for our PGI students. So now when you have a PGI identity card, when you have, if you can declare that you are a PGI student, and they give you a credit card. These credit cards are, let's say, like if the MSc program, the total cost is like 150,000. I will tell you how it operates. Let's say the MSc total cost is 150,000. So these credit cards are interest free, and you can use this credit card to pay the full amount to the PGIA, and then you can pay the credit card bank, the credit card company, in monthly installments. So it will be like a 1 year installment or 2 year installment, so that imagine like if it is like 150,000, you pay the PGI in full in 150,000, and then if you divide 150,000 into 10 or into 15, then it is 10,000. If you divide so into 24, it is less than 10,000, much less than 10,000. So you can pay like on monthly installment basis to the bank while the PGI money is already there. So it becomes quite an easy thing to do, but many students don't know. So please write down these numbers and contact them. And if you have difficulty talking to them, and if they are telling a different story, then contact us and tell that they are telling something else now, and so on, so that we can talk to these banks and ask what happened, because earlier they have agreed us. So how do they give interest free? The trick is that 10% discount. So what happens is like now you are paying on installment basis. So you are technically you are not eligible for that 10% discount because you are paying on monthly basis. So you have to pay that 150,000. So you are paying that 150,000 because you are going on monthly basis. You don't get that 10% discount, but the bank is giving us the full amount right away. Bank is giving us the full amount right away. So we give that 10% discount to the bank. So that 15,000 is, for example, if it is 150,000, it's 15,000. So if it is higher, it's higher. So that 15,000 goes to that bank because we keep only 135,000 because we are very happy that whole lump sum is already paid and we don't have to worry about that students' expenses anymore. And So that 15,000, we have asked the bank to be happy with 15,000, and they have discussed with the higher authorities in Colombo, and they have agreed to provide this kind of a package. So now the student can pay like 6,000, 7,000 rupees, and the PGIA gets the full amount right away. So PGIA accounts can be closed for that particular year. When you are making annual finances, you can declare the actual amount that we received. And so everything is quite clear. The student is happy to pay in a 24-month installment basis. And the bank is happy. The bank is getting some business people. And you can use this credit card for other things as well, but the credit limit is much lower because it is designed to pay for the master's program. If you are using to buy vegetables or things from the supermarket, then you are putting yourself in trouble. But you can do that. You can use that card for other things as well. But once I recommend you not to use that card for other things, because then the whole thing will go up and your installment will go up accordingly. So try to contact these people if you have any difficulty. So don't just send letters to the director saying, "Sir, please give me a chance to pay in 4 installments or 5 installments or 10 installments." The PGA director cannot do that. Those things have to be approved by the finance committee and the board of management, and they usually don't approve that kind of things. But that becomes a huge difficulty for the this disorganization for the whole university, because we have to send annual reports, financial reports to the treasury, to the UGC and other things. We are accountable. At the end of the year, like December 31st, we have to prepare the income and expenses balance. And when you have these hanging students, the students who have not paid the full amount, it creates lots of difficulty in coming up with the actual income and expenditure. And the financial people like the treasury members or the UGC accountants or the auditors do not like that kind of disorderly unclear kind of complicated, fluid, dynamic kind of financial management is not desirable in their eyes. They like one payment and finish and close the chapter without taking it to the hanging it as a liability or as a account receivable in the next one. So please try to contact these people, and there are some banks who give some loans as well. And sometimes you need guarantors, and some of these places you don't need guarantors. In some of those places, if you need guarantors, you can use your own group of other students. For example, if the ABC students are there, if the A student wants to get this one, he can put B and C as the guarantors, and the B wants to get the credit card, he can use A and C as guarantors. The C wants, they can put A and B as guarantors. So that kind of arrangements also are possible with these people. So please contact them and just get the credit cards and just keep it with you, and that may be useful to have a credit card. You can use any other credit card, you can use any other payment means to pay. You can make online payments. If you have any difficulty, contact our financial people. Earlier, we had difficulties because our workers were not coming all 5 days because of the fuel restrictions, and now everybody is coming all 5 days, and the PGIA is open all 7 days a week. So please use these facilities, and if you have financial difficulties, talk to our people. And we go to the website, and always go to the website. Website has all the notices, and we are trying to get you in our SMS system. So whatever the notices that we give, there will be a text message coming onto your phone, you have two phones, we will be using whatever the number you gave. You will be using whatever the email number you gave. If you have 5 email accounts, make sure that you give the right email account so that you will not be missing all the notices coming from the PGIA. Our degrees are now master's program is you need 25 credits, and we have something called 5 credit directed study. This is like a small research. Some students do. This is something little bit like some final year students do. We call project reports in their degree programs. But this is a little bit more advanced, but you can follow, finish your 25 credits and then do this degree. And if you do something called, so this is called Sri Lanka Qualification Network level number 9. If you do, this is level number 10, this is level number 11, and PhD is level number 12. That's level number 12. And MBA coursework is level number 9, and this is level number 10. And Doctor of Business Administration is level 12. Postgraduate diploma is level 8. So that is how the situation that we are going in. So coursework and research, that means like you have to follow all these 30 credits of coursework. Instead of 25, you have to do 30 credits of coursework and 1 year research. This research should be at least 1 year. The maximum period given is 6 years. So beyond that one, if you are just vanishing and if you are not coming, if you are not following, if you are uncontactable, there are no acceptable reason, then you are automatically dropped out of the system and you get nothing. After the MSc, all the coursework and the director study completion, you get something called, we have something called comprehensive examination. It's like a Viva that you can do, and there will be internal, your teachers will be asking questions from you, and there will be external people, like people from research stations or other universities or other faculties. External examiners are also in the Viva panel. They will be asking questions from your notes about the theoretical background or the practical aspects for some applications, and see whether you can apply this knowledge in any kind of in your own field. And so that is so before the comprehensive exam, you have to read all your notes and prepare and come back for the comprehensive examination. That is held at the end of all the courses and after finishing the director study. The director study is like the small research component. In most boards of study, they start from the second semester after getting some knowledge, theoretical knowledge from the first semester. But some people can start if you already have background knowledge. If you are already working on a particular research, you can start the director study project from the first semester onwards while following the courses. MPhil is just a pure research. If you want to follow any courses, you can follow courses, but this is some research. This is a 2-year research. You have to publish at least 2 full publications, and 7 years are given. And you cannot finish before lapse of 2 years. You are not allowed to finish. That is the Sri Lanka Qualification Network framework. That is the SLQF standards given by the UGC. PhD minimum 3 years should be spent. You have to complete within 8 years. This is the basic period. So what is a credit? What is 25? So we usually have 1 credit is like 15 hours of lectures. I think most of you know already. Right now we are at this prerequisite level. Okay, one question is there. I applied to the 2-year MSc in food science, but received documents relevant to master degree 1 year. I want to know whether it's a mistake or whether it's in the process of giving opportunity to decide whether continue or not. Yeah, thank you, Tilini, for the question that you laid in the chat. What happens is like you are right. It's we want you to first do the 1 year work and course, and then while going through that 1 year coursework, you can see the coursework load and how difficult it is and how easy it is, and whether you still want to do the research component. So whether now Tili's question is whether to go, now she wants to go to coursework and research, but the PGI is asking you to do the coursework first. Yeah, according to this one, the first year you have to do the coursework and you have to complete, and the second year you can theoretically start the research with this background. What happens is like the Treasury and the UGC and the Ministry of Higher Education, they do not like refunding of the money, and the income of an institute government is to come to the consolidated fund. They do not want it to write a check back to students and withdrawing. Coursework and research is 100,000 rupees more, 100,000 rupees more than the coursework. So many students earlier registered for coursework and research and paid the whole thing. And later they found it's not manageable with their workload and the demand, family and other demands that they have. And without much funding for the research, they want to revert back to coursework. When we revert back to coursework, they ask for that extra 1 lakh, extra 100,000 back. So student, because this is 100,000 less. So when the PGI approves them to downgrade to this level, they want a refund, extra money refund. But the treasury and the financial framework that our institutions have is that kind of a refund will affect the whole system. Because the year before, we sent to the UGC an annual report saying this much money is received by the students. And now with the refund, we are saying, no, we don't have that much. And that will be really confusing. So refund is a very, very difficult thing to do. Very, very difficult thing to do. If you need some kind of a refund, you have to apply within the first 2 weeks. You have to apply within the first 2 weeks, or at least within the first 4 weeks. For a refund. Otherwise, once the money is taken, the refund cannot be processed. Refunds cannot be processed. Because that way we cannot run the place, because if all the students withdraw, then after the teacher does some teaching, if all the students in, let's say 5 students are in a program and teachers start teaching, now the PGI is asked the teacher to teach. And so teacher is teaching and teacher is expecting to complete the course and get the payment from the PGI. Now all these 5 students one by one drops out and they want the money back. So once you give the money back, then what will happen to the teacher? PGI asks the teacher to do the teaching and PGI has to make the payment. So this is why these kind of things are not possible or not allowed. So directors, although powerful, cannot do all these kind of playing around with the government money. So director cannot like sympathize and make these things. When it comes to money, there are rules and regulations. Now, when you go to a bank, the bank manager may sympathize with you, but bank manager has to follow the rules, because this money that we are accountable and they go to the treasury, then it becomes difficult. Where do we have to do our second year research? Is it at the Peradeniya University? Okay, Tashini, good question. You don't have to do at Peradeniya University at all. If you like to do at Peradeniya University, we have nice labs and things, you can do it. If you are working in like ITI or any other, like a government agriculture institute or any other quality control lab or any other place that you are working in, Mahargama or virus indexing center, any kind of a place that you are working, you may be working in a place where you have labs and other facilities. So in maybe in a hospital where you can do some kind of assessment, the type of research like a molecular biology level or some kind of research that you are doing. Maybe depending on your place, you may have. So you can do this one. So You can do your research at any place that you like to do. Doesn't matter. But initially, when you finish your first year, by the time you are finishing your first year and completing all your coursework, you have to sit for the comprehensive exam. And when your coursework component is complete, then you have to worry about the research. And when you are doing this research part, you have to write research proposal. So if you are interested, we appoint you, you have to give a concept paper, like a small paper like this, what you are going to do. So according to your concept paper, you can find you a nice supervisor with a PhD, with a postgraduate qualification to be your supervisor. Or if you don't, then when you send the request, according to your topic, we appoint an expert for that one for you to work with. And you can work with that person to develop the proposal. To develop the proposal, not the research, develop the proposal. So once your proposal is developed, you have to present it to the board of study. You submit the proposal to the PGIE, and then PGIE, the board of study, will appoint a panel, and you have to present the proposal saying that this is what I'm planning to do. This is where I'm going to do. This is my supervisor, and this is my second supervisor. This is my third supervisor, and this is my supervisory panel, and these are the objectives I'm going to do. Then the board of study is going to tell you whether that is sufficient for MSc or that is way too big for MSc, or whether that funding and all those things, that the objectives are clear or not. Like they look at the whole thing. Otherwise, you will be wasting money and time on something wrong. And after 1 year, you may not be able to get the degree. So to avoid that, we ask you to present it so that everybody is clear that this is sufficient, this is enough. Just don't get distracted, don't get derailed, don't get into detours. Stay focused on your work, so you know what I'm doing is enough, and I don't have to add things later or something. Of course, you can change later, but no restriction. You can, of course, research will change, but what you start with is clear and sufficient for you. There are two more questions in the chat. Please advise on this. When doing the research, do we need to find a sponsor for lab, chemicals, etc.? Or PJ is sponsoring us for the research, since we are paying extra 100,000 rupees. Unfortunately, that extra 100,000 rupees does not make you like sponsoring this one. Some of the lab research and things takes a lot of money, way a lot of money than 100,000. That's 100,000 is for the examiners, payments, and the thesis evaluators, examiners payments, and the supervisors. You have to allocate supervisors to work with you for the whole year, sometimes supervisory panel. And so then you have to have the progress presentations every semester as a research student. And so we have to provide the refreshments and everything for all the teachers and make payments. So there are many payments involved at the PGIA level. So that's what and the 20% of that run, according to government circulars, have to go to the PGIA, have to keep by the PGIA, otherwise it is illegal. So that money, it cannot be used for research. So PGIA is not sponsoring anything. That's why when like people want to go into coursework and research in a very ambitious way, the PGIA asks you to first register for this one and go through the thing, and then sort these things out, whether you can do research, whether you have some research grant or some your own money, or whether otherwise are you working in a place where they have a research grant and that research grant is funding. With all these things coming in, you can embark on the research. So this is why many students who go for coursework and research 2 year and later most of them want to, like when 10 people want to do coursework and research, about 7 people want to come back to coursework and complete the coursework and go out, because this research part is involves sometimes money. So like biostatistics, applied stat people, sometimes they can use secondary data, they can use existing data from Department of Census and Statistics or any other government institute or somewhere, central bank or somewhere, that so they can analyze those data. So the research expenses are low. But for food science students, when they work in the lab, sometimes the chemical costs are so high. So you have to find a research grant. If you sometimes, if you are lucky, one of the teachers in Peradeniya or in some other place may have a research grant and some research going on. They want you to join them. Then you are lucky. That's why. So don't pay the whole amount if you are registering as a postdoc and research. Don't pay the full amount and ask for a refund. Don't pay the full amount and ask for a refund. If you have already paid the full amount, then ask for the refund immediately. Because otherwise we have difficulty in refunding. Later, if you cannot find a research program, we will have difficulty in refunding. The finance committee and the board of management does not allow me to refund once it goes to the consolidated fund. Earlier, we had zero refund policy, like in many PG institutes, but now we have our refund policy is a little bit flexible, like within first month or first 2 weeks, you can ask for a refund, and then we only keep 10% for the administrative difficulties and hassles that we went through. We may keep that 10%, and that is the recommendation from the government for us to do. We are not here to grab the money, but the government wants us to follow the government regulations. So we are kind of in that solid framework, and we cannot play around with that. So, so if you want to pay for the research, unless you are 100% sure, don't pay it, because getting that money back will be difficult. And once you are doing the first semester, second semester, and things like that one, and when you get to know the teachers and get to know the lab atmosphere, and you can discuss with your favorite teachers, and you can come to Peradeniya and discuss with them, or if you can find any other laboratory where some friendly scientists are there, any other university, any other research institute, wherever you can do these things, you can try. I'm basically talking to the food science students. The stat students don't get a lot of lab expenses, so for them things are much less complicated. Still, I want them to stick to this coursework thing, and then when they are really sure, when the background is okay, then ask to go upgrading to coursework and research. Please mention if there is a closing date for full payment of first installment of MSc. Okay. Before starting the prerequisites, you have to complete the full payment, so, or first installment. Full payment. If you are paying the full payment, that is great. If you are making, if you cannot, you can make the first installment. There are no due dates for the full payment, then it's same day. So technically speaking, if you complete all the payments, we can register you, we can give you an ID number, and we can do all those things. And then we can enroll you as a student, we can give you a registration number, then we can go into the management information system, we call MIS. And go to the MIS and you can explain the things, then you can register for different courses. Without making the payment, we don't let you do that. Having said that, I know some students have difficulties. There is a humming sound coming in, so let me talk to them and see whether I can reduce the humming sound. If the computer, the system analysis is listening to the presentation, please check what that humming sound is coming from and see whether you can reduce it. And so I know some of you have difficulties. With the payments, and so that we sometimes unofficially give you little bit of time frame for you to join. When there are like online, if you are doing coming for on-ground lectures, we let you come for the lectures for 1 week or 2 weeks, usually like about 2 weeks. But then the teachers will be not very happy that you are staying there, and taking all the lectures and all the notes and everything, and still no payments were done. Still no payments were done, and there's no guarantee whether you will stay there, whether you are here to steal the knowledge and then leave without making any payment. So the institute become stressed when you delay the payment. During the COVID situations and other things, we had to be flexible, which put us in a lot of stress, a lot of undue stress, because there are students who have not paid yet. We have allocated some temporary assistant lecturers and temporary senior lecturers for each board of study. You can go to the website and you can see those people, and you can take their phone numbers. And we have allocated the people for each board of study, and they have master's degrees and they have PhDs. And you can contact them. Some of them are in your age, some of them are slightly older than you. And you can talk to them and sort out most of these issues. Otherwise, you can talk to the board of study secretary or board of study chairperson. Their names are, all the information is in the web. If some informations are not in the web, write to me. Okay, my email is dir. My email is dir, director, dir at pgia dot ac.lk. dir at pgia.ac.lk. You can send to me any kind of a complaints that you have, that if the system is not working, if the web is not clear, if the instructions are not clear, or if these teachers allocated for this each board of study are not responsible. Please don't call them at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. and send them like this kind of signs or this kind of a sign. Don't harass them. Don't. There have been some people who are sending like heart signals and things to them, and those are inappropriate. And we want you to maintain professionalism. It is not any kind of a playground that you have come up with in your previous part of the life. We are very professional and we are here to help you. That doesn't mean we are abusive or we are just vulnerable to any kind of abuse. We are not. And we are kind, but at the same time, we want you to be kind also. We don't want you to come here with all these emotional outbursts. If you have a personality issue, try to solve it with yourself. We are not here as counselors or psychiatrists here, but we are academic counselors, which means since you do not know many of the procedures, we are here to help you and guide you, because every institute, the procedures are new and there is a learning curve. And so every time the students come, they are new, and we have to answer the same questions over and over again, which we do. And please ask, please don't assume anything. Please don't say, sir, I thought it is this way. You may have thought it is this way, but it is not that way. So that we cannot change the system. You may have assumed one thing, but that is not the system. Finally, you will have to suffer. If you drink and drive and assume that there are no policemen, that is your assumption. If police caught you, then you have to, they will find you. So that is the system. So don't say, I thought it this way, I thought it this way. There is a way, and please listen, please stick to that way. If you don't understand, read the handbook, the PGIA the student handbooks are there. Okay, some are sending me SMS text messages. Sorry. Here we are having this interactive discussion. So I think I got a little bit interrupted in this slide. Now the students are keep asking questions, which is okay. We are here to answer all the questions. I have 10 new chats, so I will answer all of those things because I think answering all these questions is very important. So I'm just pausing my presentation here and trying to answer. Can we collect recordings and lecture notes of each lecture? Yes and no. Lecture notes, I don't know. We are not a school. Even in undergrad times, when you are doing, some teachers give lecture notes in some handouts, some at least some guidelines or something in their own your sheets or in some A4 papers. But most of the things are not like written A to Z, everything nicely and hand over to you like a textbook or something. It's not. Most of the time, it's going to be student-centered learning, and student-centered learning means we guide you, but you have to go to internet. You have to go do all the searchings, and it's like a commando versus police or army. In the army, like the top people plan and they order, and these people, the army people, have to just uh, just implement or execute that order, and without questioning. That is one way to do this. And if the army soldiers start questioning the decision of the authorities, then they cannot go to war. Then it will be a lot of disorganized situation, and we call mutiny. That means people are going against the top people. But when you are in the commando situation, sometimes they train you, and you are thrown into a jungle from a helicopter or somewhere, and you have to find the way and come out. But when you find the way and come out, that means you can go to anywhere in the world, any kind of a postgraduate program or any kind of a research program or any kind of a research lab. You know how to find the way out. That is what we expect from you, rather than becoming like a bookworms and read the notes and just pass the exams and without understanding what that really meant, or how to use it, or how to implement it. So the lack of working knowledge is not good. It's not good. And so when you are doing, you are going to be a master of science, master, like a karate master. So that kind of or sensei. So those people are different. Karate master is not just a karate teacher. Karate masters, they have mastered the thing. So like that one. So like in the commando situations, we want you to find things like when you finish a PhD. When you finish a PhD, you know how the new knowledge comes. You know how the new creations come. You know how the new inventions come. By the people. What people? The people with the PhDs, people with these MPhils and a lot of experience. So we want, so those inventions were there earlier in the world? No. These are new. We want you to find new things. We want you to find new inventions. We want you to discover things that were not found before. Everything cannot be handed over in some A4 sheets and given to you. That is not the good practice. That is not what student-centered learning is. That is not what the commando training is. That way, you will be always spoon-fed by people. When the minute that the teachers stop feeding, you don't know how to eat. You don't know how to eat by yourself because you have been fed all the time. That is how we do in the Montessori. That is how we do in the school. That is how we do partly in the undergrad. But at the postgrad level, don't expect all the lecture notes. Don't expect all the recordings. You have to attend the classes. You must attend the classes. These lecture recordings are like, some of my lecture recordings are 4 hours long, sometimes 5 hours long. And before the exam, if you try to read those, you cannot, because it will take 5 hours to read one lecture. And you just don't have that kind of time before the exam. So these things are not very practical. All the people keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. They are not very practical. Don't rely on them. But having said that, many teachers, depending on the teacher, many teachers, if there is an online lecture, if it is an online lecture, they will record it for your thing and they will sometimes upload it into their Google Drive and give you the link. They will give you the link for you to follow. We want the student group to, like, let's say MS Input and Nutrition group. We want you to come up with your own WhatsApp group, so you can share all the information. Somebody has to come up with the WhatsApp group, and or otherwise we will make the WhatsApp group for you. And then our teachers, the temporary instructors that we have in the PGI, also can be added into that one, and they can put all the notices. Even the teachers can put all the notices into that one. Even the links, the Google links and other things for those recordings can be put into that WhatsApp group. So that WhatsApp groups are a lot more helpful when you come to like cancellation of lectures or postponement of lectures or change in the times of the lectures or any other issues that you want to discuss with the teachers and things. And those groups are very useful because now most of you are in different places. When you come to, if you are on ground, then no recordings. On ground, no recordings at all. We don't do much of hybrid mode. Hybrid means some people come, some people don't come. Some people come on ground, some people don't come. And what happens is, like, most people don't come. Because why come if you can stay at home? So most people don't come. So these hybrids are really not hybrids. So they become online after some time. So recordings, some teachers give, some teachers don't like to give. They want you to be in the class and do interactively. So don't expect all the time. So we paid and we need this one. No, you have to earn the degree. You have to earn the degree. And the teachers just are not here to just like the fish market, they get money and give the fish. That is not the academic work is. What they are paid right now is very much lower than the real value of the things that they are teaching. So you just cannot say, I paid this much and that is enough. The amount of knowledge that you are gaining and the value of that knowledge is way high, but we cannot really charge that amount. For example, if we are submitting a PhD thesis for evaluation, it goes to elite professors as examiners, and we are paying them very minimum amount actually, but they are spending so much time because PhD thesis is huge, and they are spending so much time and things, but they are just doing this and for dedication. But don't say like, I am paying, so I should get all these things. What you are paying is way below the real worth of the knowledge. What you are gaining is useful for you until you become 65 years old, until you retire, until you work in all these different sectors. These are like basic things that you are getting. The platform you are getting to jump up. So I don't expect that one, but many teachers are really nice and they always give their Google links. But what I have seen, even in undergrad places, what I have seen is like the students don't have, most of the time they don't have time to go through those things. They are happy that they got the link, but many of them just end up doing that in the examinations. Now, let me try to answer. There are many questions like that. About 12 questions are. What attendance percentage is required to appear in the final exam? Okay, Sanjani, the university recommendation as the director. If you talk to me personally, I will tell a different story. But as the director, if you ask me open public, 80% attendance is required. 80% attendance is required. When you are going online and things become a little complicated. You can submit because some people have connectivity issues. They come and go on and off. Some people just connect, but they are not there. So this implementation of this 80% is sometimes tricky. But in on-ground basis, when you are doing on-ground, it's quite easy to apply. This rule is strictly applied for undergraduates who are staying in the hostels in University of Peradeniya because they have no excuses. If they want to if they have medical issues or something, they can go to the health center and they can show that they went to health center. And health center, University Health Center is there. We have doctors there, and even the dengue and the COVID vaccines and all these things can be there, and there are even some beds that they can manage, and that facilities are common for PG students as well. And if the situation is serious, we have ambulances. We take you to Peradeniya Hospital or to Kandy Hospital if it is a serious issue. And these health center facilities are available for PG students as well. So if there are medical given, then some of these 80% things can be, these 80% things can be, 80% things can be, overlooked, or I should not be saying overlooked, but this when the medical is considered, so that will be considered as attendance. Then the 80% can be covered with the medicals and the true attendance. At the postgraduate level, because we are under the University of Peradeniya, the same rules apply for postgraduate students. But if you go abroad, like USA, like countries where you are doing PhDs, we don't really check how many days that you are attending the research, the lab work, or how many days you are absent, how many days you are just going on trips and other things. We don't check. But in the end, we look at the product. If you still have a product that deserves an output, research output that deserves a PhD, that's what we check. So if you are not really regularly attending, then you will take long time to finish your PhD. Otherwise, it will take short time to finish your PhD. So if you are working on Saturdays and Sundays also, then you can do the PhD quickly. Otherwise, it will get dragged on and on and on. So finally, when the thesis comes out, when the products come out, when the patents come out, when the research papers come out, that is the indication for postgraduates. So that is how the USA, Canada, like countries do. So in that sense, we are a little bit flexible. If you can, some teachers may say, I don't mind you not coming into the class, but if you can pass my examination, that means I know you have that knowledge level, then you are through. Then I will give you A grade if you do well, even without coming to my class. So some teachers, some creative teachers are like that. But regulation, if you ask me the regulation is this 80% is there. And as a director, I cannot say I do not follow the regulation. I cannot say that. So the Senate, the university regulation is 80%. And those who are coming below 80%, usually I know pathetic, and they usually just get a B or B minus or C like grades, and they just don't do well. They are just like free riders. They are in the bus. They are like that the bag of sugar on the top of a bull, and the bull is carrying it, and the bull doesn't know the taste of the sugar. So something like that. And so they are coming to the classes time to time, haphazardly on and off, and they are not really following it. So they are just seems like carrying, but they don't know what they learn. In the comprehensive examination, we ask all these things together, and there are some people fail because of this lack of these things. So you are given 2 attempts to pass the comprehensive examination at the end of everything. And some people, probably like 5% or maybe less, people fail Even when they ask the easy question, people fail. And because they just have not found that is what we want. We want you are professionals. You decided to follow this master's program because it is useful to you. And you are the one who should really monitor your attendance and your dedication. If you cannot come to a class, something you can inform the teachers early ahead. We are adults, we may have some issues, but it's always nice that you inform the teacher what happens and get the permission. Do we have online exams or physical exams? Okay, Tashmi, that question is again up to the teacher. Some teachers, depending on the subjects that they do, like if there are like lab practicals, like things, definitely on ground. There are like certain ones we have the practicum and things, they are definitely on ground. Certain places earlier, our experience was doing online exams because of the COVID restrictions there, and it was going on and on and on and on and on like that. And we never knew how to open, but we do not want to keep the students waiting and waiting and waiting. Some have confirmations, the probationary periods are going to be over. Some have promotion schemes coming out. Some have vacancies getting created. They need these master's programs like this. So the professional people need these degrees early. So we resorted, when the whole country is closed, we resorted to online exams. But we found in certain cases, there are teamwork, there are interactions, there are things that the students were doing that were not supposed to do. They were not in isolated places. And I'll tell you a couple of my own experiences. I asked them, so these are bad experiences. I asked the students to stay at different places and not getting help by somebody else. So they all said, I had 8 students, they all said they are in different places. Then I asked them to turn the camera on, they turned the camera on, and I could see they are all in different places. When I saw 2 people, they have the background, the window is there, and the window curtain were same. And what is the probability that you have the same windows and the window curtains in 2 different places? And so I asked them to, turn the camera a little bit to this direction and this direction. And I found the other students is sitting right next to this. So these 2 students were copying from each other. And some were using WhatsApp and other ways of sending their answer script to a friend, or helping an answer script to a friend. That is one case. Another case that I have found was, these are PG students, and not you, but because certain things happen, we have rules. So a lot of teachers don't like online exams. Some teachers still do, but most of them just don't like, because they think there are a lot of plagiarism can happen, cheating can happen. And some people I know, like when I ask a question, I ask a question about what is inbreeding, because I'm teaching genetics and things, and I am getting an answer that I have never thought it was about something happened in Australia on some sheep, some inbreeding, some incident, something written in this Australian English. Somebody is writing in the whole package. And I was wondering whether this student is a genius, whether the student is just copying. Then I typed what is inbreeding in the Google, and I got the same answer that the students has written. So a student has gone to Google and from his place and looked at the first thing coming out and wrote word by word, word by word, word by word, same thing, which has no relevance to my question. This is called plagiarism, or some people call plagiarism. So depending on which country you are in, you pronounce slightly differently. So plagiarism is really, 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 really bad. Really bad. Your studentship can be cancelled. There are disciplinary committees in the University Senate. This is why the PGIA is attached to the or kept under the University of Peradeniya, because for all the academic purposes, there can be disciplinary inquiries, there can be grievances, there can be matters to be resolved by the Senate level, not at the PGIA level, but at the Senate level, based on the rules and regulations. And so we have lawyers, we have a legal department at the university, which we can get the help. So a lot of these things are there under this quality assurance activities going on in all the universities and the PG institutes. These things are really monitored, how well we are doing these things. So some students just like to copy because they have not come to the class and they just took somebody else's notes, don't know what it is, and sometimes writing word by word. Those things are not allowed. So now, this year, most teachers prefer on-ground examinations because they can ensure that the examinations are properly conducted and students were not reading the notes, or they were not accessing to any textbooks or online or anything, and they can have a proper on-ground traditional kind of examination. When you are doing online examinations, some teachers ask the students not to access anything in the internet or from the books or lectures, but it's very difficult when you have a big class. It's very difficult to monitor. Some students don't turn the video on. They say their data problems are there. Sometimes they say connectivity issue is there. So during the exam, some students disappear. During the online exam, some students disappear. They say power cut. And after 45 minutes, they appear again and submit the answer script. And the teacher doesn't know what the student did during that 45 minutes. They say electricity, power cut. So all these things make it somewhat suspicious or somewhat less confident about assigning grades or proper evaluation. So a lot of teachers now say, okay, online lectures, maybe online exams may not be as far as the rules or the are concerned. PGIA has got the permission from the Senate, University Senate, to hold online on-ground exams depending on the situation. So we have permission to do any of them, but there are no strict rules and regulations that we must do on ground or we must do online. It's up to the teacher, it's up to the subject, it's up to the type of evaluation that they are doing. It's depending on how the exam question was written, whether they are like essay questions, then two answers cannot be the same. But if there are like some mathematical question, then the two answers can be exactly same and must be same. And so depending on these situations, it's all up to the teacher. All up to the teacher to decide what the teacher is comfortable of, because once the teacher submits grades to the director PGIA, that teacher must be comfortable. The teacher must be certain, teacher must be confident that he has done a proper evaluation and he has assigned proper grades according to the true level of knowledge of the student. So answer is, I don't know what the teacher will do, but my guess is they are permitted, it's not my guess, they are permitted to decide whether online or on ground, depending on the type of evaluation that they are doing. But from the way that I have interacted with from the responses that I found from the interactions with the teachers, most of them will in the future will have on-ground examinations. So for Colombo intake,
they will ask you to come to Kotalavala Defense Academy, KDU, the graduate faculty, the lecture rooms, and they will hold the examinations there. And if you have difficulty coming in, you have to provide medicals. So whatever the acceptable reason, and ask for a makeup exam or sit with the next year batch. And keep contacts and find when the next year batch will do, and you can do with them. You cannot do with Peradeniya students. That will confuse the whole situation in submitting grades. So you have to do with next Colombo batch or have a separate makeup exam. If there are more than one student, there may be like one makeup exam, one on-ground makeup exam for all of them together. But we have to make an extra payment of 3,000 rupees because the teacher has to set up the paper and he has to come, because that paper has to be different from the previous paper. So the teacher has to do a lot of hard work and it has to be the same standard. And that's not easy. And so there will be a 3,000 rupee cost that we give it back to the teacher for the extra effort. Where are we doing practicals? At the university lab, somewhere else, Nuanya. So Nuanya, the current arrangement is like whenever there are some specific practicals, we complete all our lectures online on ground at the KDU, and then for the practical thing, we ask you to come to Peradeniya. We have tried some places in Rajagiriya with the Institute of Chemistry. Sometimes it works, sometimes it is difficult with them because they also have a lot of programs going on, weekdays and weekends. So right now, if you ask the decision at the moment the decision is for you to ask to come to Peradeniya only on that particular day. And you will spend the whole day with the food science and technology department and in their labs and try to complete those practicals. There are many questions I have not answered. If anyone select 1 year course, 6-month research, after that they can continue the MSc in 2 years. Okay, after that they can continue the MSc in 2 years with 1 year research. Yes, but yes, that is true. You are asking whether you can register for coursework and later upgrade for coursework and research. Yes, you can upgrade from MSc to coursework and research, and to MPhil and to PhD if you get a research grant and your life is blooming and continuing nicely. If you are like a research officer in Batalagodo or somewhere, some research station where your whole life is doing research, maybe you can start with MSc and then continue and go all the way up to PhD. And you can downgrade down, go up and down. That is possible. That is allowed. So first do the coursework, and you may be working with. So as Darshini was asking, you can do the coursework component and start your the 6-month research component. And then like if you decide like you want to convert it into 1 year, then Darshini, you have to send the concept paper and appoint some supervisors for this one and develop the research proposal and appoint supervisors and start the research, and then you have to complete that 1 year research. Plus, you have to take extra 5 credits. Like right here, this is 25 credit coursework, and it should be 30 credit coursework. So there should be extra 5 credits that you have to do, because this research 5 credits that you did is not counted here. So this is another 5 credits of coursework that you have to do. At least if you can do more, but not less than 30. And 1 year research. And halfway, if you want to decide to come back, you can still decide to come back, but extra money will not be refunded. Can you please tell us the course fee?
Yeah, I will ask Kumar to exactly tell us the course fee. I think it is when you go to the online payment, it is clearly written there. We have our system analyst here. I will ask um, Mr. Hemajit is here. Mr. Hemajit, can you get from Kumar what is the total course fee for food science program and what is the total course fee for STAT program? Okay, because there's a course fee plus the Congress fee and there was the library fee and the refundable library fee and several things involved. Okay, let me go up to the one selected. Yeah, let me answer. Do you have online? Okay, let me answer another question. I did not receive any email regarding the course payment details after the aptitude testing. I have submitted all the required documents in me to the email regarding today's orientation only. Will I be receiving the detailed payments before? Okay, Natasha, you need to contact Kumar. I will give his phone number. Anybody who needs Kumar's phone number, maybe I can put it in the chat. That is better. I'll put it in the chat box. Kumar's phone number. Let me find it first from my phone. He's our in the office. Okay. His number is, let me write it. So to everyone, so Mr. Kumar, you can talk to him and ask any questions that you have. The 0714 and another 444. I think there are 5 sixes. 0714 66666. So try this one. And for any queries regarding this one, you can so for now for Colombo intake for biostatistics, the application fee is 1,500. For food science also application fee is 1,500 that you have already paid. For course masters, the biostatistics, there is a 200,000 course fee. For food science and technology, there is a 225,000 course fee. Plus the other fees. Other fees means the library fees, the administrative stuff, the Congress fee, all these different items are there. All together, there is a 28,800. So all together, for biostatistics, 200,000 plus 28,800. Let me write it down. For everybody. Biostat. Uh, 200,000 plus 200,000 plus 28,800 total. And food science is 225,000 plus 28,000. Also 28,800. So these are the fees. In all, out of this one, there may be a 5,000 library fee, which you will get back. It's a refundable library. You will get back. And okay, so you can talk to Kumar and get these things and talk to him about today. When all of you try to call him, he will be busy. But You can keep trying and you can get the payments quickly. Okay, we are doing the practicals. 1 year course with online exam certificate exam. Evaluating the course payment detail after the test. Okay, this is what that is the percentage. I sent registered form through email and post. How can I get the registration number? Yeah, you can talk to Kumar. This is Sukanya. Sukanya can talk to Mr. Kumar and ask if you send the registration form through mail, how can I get the registration number? So registration number comes with the payment. So you have to check the exact payment. You can make the online payment, and then that will help you to get the registration number. So if you have real difficulty, you can come one day to Peradeniya and get everything done within 1 hour or less than that. Can we collect the recordings? Yeah, we answered that. And our university will yet not result the final year research results. It will take about 1 month time or so. Can I apply with the pending results? Okay. Uvavelas and some other places, depending on the university, not only Uvavelas, depending on the university, sometimes the results are delayed. That's okay. Results are delayed is okay. If the results are released in 1 month time, that means in September, you can still, we still allow you to follow the process. If some teacher is causing issues, you can inform me using DIR. Okay, let me type that on the DIR at pgia.ac.lk. So that is my email, and you can send me that one. Okay, so can you follow? Yeah, you can apply with pending results, and you can follow somehow. So what is the requirement? The requirement is whoever the university or any other university will give the effective date of your degree. Effective date of your degree is sometimes the date that you finished your final examination. Effective date in some places is the date where they had the results board and release your results. You need to check that date with your own place. After that, that date is your actual graduation date, not the convocation date. That date was your actual graduation date. That date should be before the starting of the Colombo program. That date should be before starting the Colombo program, which means your undergraduate period and the postgraduate period cannot overlap. Cannot overlap. If it overlaps, that is illegal. That means as an undergraduate, you cannot register for postgraduate. So results may be released later, but if they are backdating it to the previous date, then you are okay. If they are saying that, okay, results are released, but your effective date is end of September, then we are in trouble. Then you cannot follow the PGI courses. You cannot follow for this semester. You can follow from next semester. You can start from next semester or next year. As due to power cuts and signal issues, sometimes there may be some disturbances. There can be true, but that I know very well. I have been teaching now for very, very long time. We know power cuts and signal issues are there. So those things are simple. So you have to inform them in the chat. You can inform it to the teachers how difficult it is. And these are some reasons why some teachers are strongly pushing for on-ground classes. Some teachers are really uncomfortable with these online classes with no interaction or very minimum interaction from the students. Many students don't turn the video on. Many students don't answer a question. They keep their mics mute. So a lot of times the interactions are not there. So you have to make sure that these things are not there. If there are power cuts, if you know, then you have to go to like your working place or somewhere where there are no power. Sometimes you have to get like uninterrupted power supply, like a UPS or a laptop with a fully charged laptop, or your phone with a dongle or something. Like if you have a dongle from a retail dial-up or something, then you can actually have this uninterrupted ones. You have to prepare. You have to prepare. Otherwise, it's going to be. Okay, can you drop the number of the contact person? Yeah. Ravihari was asking whether you can drop. Yeah, you can talk to Kumar. I have given his number. Don't call right now. Just listen to my talk. And after the talk, you have enough time for today, tomorrow, and anytime. Tomorrow, I don't know whether Kumar will come. It's a Sunday, but he may answer your phone call. I will ask him to keep his phone on, even though it is a Sunday. Do we have a new coordinator for MSc Food Science and Technology? Okay, Tilini, good question. I will, getting a new PGIA coordinator in 1 month. So until that, I will ask Ms. Suyama or somebody to coordinate with you. She is very experienced. So she can talk to handle all your issues. Can we please extend the payment date, because I don't have a credit card to pay what I told. I need some time to make this. Ashani, now the issue is I cannot officially keep extending and extending, but unofficially you can delay the payment. If you are delaying the payment, you are not going to get a registration number. You are not going to get MIS, getting to the MIS or register for the courses. Until you make the payment, you cannot get into that system. So teachers may send you the links until sometime. I don't know how long, because some teachers are very, very kind-hearted. They will let you. They will send you the links, and for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. But that becomes a very messy, because even for then some students don't register until the exams, and then it becomes a very complicated situation. And some teachers are very strict. They say like, okay, 2 weeks is 2 weeks. You have to register, otherwise I will not send the link. So that way they encourage or try to students to make the payments, or they try to make things in order so that they know exactly the list of students. They know exactly like who is given quizzes, who are given homeworks, and what is the exact number of students they have. So making payments early is we cannot give any official extra period for you to pay, but unofficially, if you can delay, but it's at your own risk. You may get the links, you may not get the links. If you don't get the links, talk to us. Unofficially, we will try to convince the teachers to give you the links. So these are done on individual basis. That's a lot of work, but we might do that one for special cases. We will get the recordings of the lectures. Some teachers give, some teachers don't. Iranga, yes, I have already paid the full amount with 10% discount. Is this a statement meaning that I need to ask for a refund now? No refund now. Don't ask for refund. You have already paid, you have already got the 10% discount, you are okay. You are a good student, you have already done everything, so PGIE has very little problems with you. Now nothing is confusing. I am talking about these refunds and other things for people who are trying to leave the course. So for example, like if you decide to leave the course, then and ask for refund, that is when the whole everything becomes confusing. That we will handle case by case. But in your case, no refund, nothing, just the 10% discount you got. Now you are safe to go. No refund, nothing. You can just follow the process. You already got the 10% discount. I am a BSc degree. I already have basic structure. So do I need to sit for the prerequisite course examinations? Okay, you have already registered, so that's good. I don't know your name, but in your application, ask Mr. Kumara whether in your application, whether the board study chair or secretary has ticked the prerequisite or not. Ask him whether, for some students, they say do the prerequisite. For some students, they say don't do the prerequisite because you already have that knowledge. So please check your individual file with Mr. Kumara, and he will tell you whether you must do or you should not do. So please mention if there is a closing date for full payment of it. So there is a closing date. Is the beginning of the prerequisite courses. The prerequisite courses will begin, I think they will begin September 3rd, Saturday. The basic stat course will begin 8 to 12. 8 to 12 Saturday. The timetables will be in the web. Go to the web and make a habit of going to the web and finding on your own. If you come for on-ground classes, then you can learn from other students during a chat during the tea break. But when you are doing online, you are on your own, so you really need to check your email and your text messages and your WhatsApp group and your and the web. Calculus course also start on Saturday. That means next Saturday. So both prerequisite courses start next Saturday, September 3rd. So it will go on Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and it will finish. The course will finish on 25th September. 4 Saturdays and 4 Sundays. Then the examination date is to be announced. Usually, examination date is just a week, just the next week. So when you finish the classes on Sunday, the next Saturday is usually the exam. So we cannot delay because we have to start the normal courses. The regular semester has to begin, so we have to stop. Yeah. Okay. Somebody said, well, we need to if we pay one municipal plan to extend for research as well, we can. Yeah. Nestle Northi, yeah, you can pay for the MSc coursework, this 1 year situation, and then later in the year you can upgrade, you can send a request and upgrade to the coursework and research, and you can make that extra 100,000 later. So I advise you to do that. So pay that extra 100,000 later. After knowing and after clarifying and after ensuring that you can really do this one. So no need, so no going back. So asking whether you can really do that and whether that research lab is there, the funds are there, the research problem is there, everything is set for you to go, and your time is, and it's okay, you can manage. With all those things, when it's okay, you can upgrade to coursework and research, no problem. Then make that extra 100,000 payment. Do we have to do our second year research? You don't have to do your second year research. If you are in coursework and research, yeah, you have to do the 1 year research. You don't have to do it in Peradin, you can do it anywhere. But you need to appoint a supervisory panel. You need to get your research approved. I applied for 2 year but received documents. Okay, so that question we answered. Okay, I think I answered all the questions. So thank you very much for asking the questions. So that means you are there. So this is how we usually go. The prerequisites usually go for like 8 weeks, or sometimes it is less than 8 weeks. Usually now we have cut it down to like 5 weeks. Then the first semester usually go for like 15 weeks. 15 weeks means like if you do like 1 hour Saturday, like 8 to 9 Saturday, 8 to 9 Saturday, 8 to 9 Saturday, 8 to 9 Saturday. For 15 weeks, you get 15 hours. 15 hours is 1 credit. So 1 hour in Saturday means 1 credit. 2 hour course in Saturday means 2 credits. 3 hour course in Saturday means 3 credits. That means if you are following a class like 1 to 4 Saturday, 1 to 4, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, that is, and 15 Saturdays like this way in one semester, you are getting you are into a 3 credit course. So some teachers might want to do quickly, like some people want to do instead. Let's say like it's a 2 credit course. Let's say it's a 2 credit course. 2 credit course, usually we go for 15 weeks, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, Saturday or Sunday, 1 day. Like let's say Sunday 8 to 10, Sunday 8 to 10, Sunday 8 to 10, Sunday 8 to 10, Sunday 8 to 10. For 15 weeks, when you go for 15 weeks, that is 2 credits. That's 30 hours, 2 credits. Sometimes these teachers arrange, like in statistics, the teachers arrange it in 8-week groups. That means instead of 2 hours, like 8 to 10 on Sunday, they go for 8 to 12. They go for 8 to 12 on Sunday. That is covering 4 hours. So they don't need 15 weeks. They usually cover it in like 8 weeks and have the exam and give it to the next teacher. So like that, there may be changes in the timetable. You need to check. There may be a small vacation and then we start the second semester. And if you are doing research, there will be progress presentations in the middle of the semesters, in both semesters. So usually basic math and basic stat are there. At the end of this one, we have the final exam. And in the second semester, you have to register for the courses. Then you have the final exam. And then you can register for the first semester courses again. If you have not followed all the first semester courses, you can register in the third semester. You are given 5 years to do this one. 5 years to do this one. So if you have not finished all your coursework requirement, you can register again and again and again in the next year. Everything, the registration is done by the MIS. If you have an issue, talk to the system analyst or talk to, I will give the number of the system analyst also. If there is a computer issue, there's a computer issue. Okay, prerequisite course has the exam and the credit value. Yeah, prerequisite course you can get grades, so you can get pass-fail basis, but they are not added to the 30 credits. They are not added to the MSc program. They are called prerequisites. So they are there because you don't have that basic background to start the course. The real courses start at the first semester. Prerequisite courses will appear on your transcript. They will appear on your transcript that you have done this in your past, but they will not add to the 25 credits. I will let me put Mr. Hemajit's number. Mr. Hemajit is our system analyst. His number is, let me check. For all your connectivity issues and MIS problems, you can talk to him. His number is 07. If you have a problem getting into MIS or something, you can talk to him. Why they are not allowing you to get into this one? You have to pay and go to MIS and you have to register for the courses. Then the teachers can see you that you are there. Teachers can see you that you are there. So I have sent it his number in the chat box. So there are compulsories and optional courses. All the compulsory courses you must do. So out of the 25 credits you do, sometimes 20 courses can be compulsory. Those 20 you have to do. Then we offer several optional courses. Out of that, suppose you did 20 compulsories. I don't know exactly 20 or 21 or 22, depending on your program. But let's say 20. Let's say 20 is the compulsory. Then you need another 5 to get 25. If you do more, that is okay. But you need another 5. So when you need another 5, The PGIA offers gives like separate optional courses. So several optional courses are there. Some of the optional courses are like 2 credits. Some optional courses are like 3 credits. Some are like 1 credit, and you can decide which ones to take. Somehow you can take that whole thing and you can complete it. So that when you have 20 credits of compulsories, and when you have then if you complete like 5 credits of optional, then you are done. Then you can finish, and then once you finish the 25 credits, you are okay. If you do 26, 27, 28, that's better for you. So you can complete all that, and within that period. And if you want to do more in the next year, you can do more. So 1 credit is 15 hours. So you can see like we have like almost equally divided first semester courses and second semester courses. You can decide I want to do only Saturday courses because or I want to do only Sunday courses because Saturday I have to work. That's fine, but that means you have to do next year. So Saturday courses you have to do next year. So there is this ad drop deadlines are there. So if you don't want to, if you register for the whole courses like 15 credits and you think like, okay, Sunday, Saturday, both are difficult for me, then within like 2 weeks, you can go to the MIS and you can drop it. You can drop those courses and keep only the Saturday ones. So you have the flexibility. You have the 5 years are given for you to complete the requirement. The sooner the better. Okay, so what will happen is there is no actual timetable, but this is how the timetable will appear. This is only a sample. Okay? This is not true sample. This is a last year timetable. So you can see like first in the stat class they go for 8-week groups. So Saturday 8 to 12, the design course. Saturday 1 to 5, software course. Sunday 8 to 12, non-parametric course. Sunday 1 to 5, time series course. Like that, they will go on and they will have the exams and complete and give it to the next teacher. Next teacher, 8 to 12 is binary data, 1 to 5 is data analysis, 8 to 12 sampling, 1 to 5 regression. Like that, they will arrange the process. So these kind of a calendars will be displayed in the web for you to check. If you don't see it, then talk to Mr. Hemajit. And so A grade is 4 points, A minus is 3.7, B plus 3.3, B is 3, C is 2, F is 0. So they will add all these things and average it. That is called grade point average. So if you get an A grade for one course, a 2-credit course, and C grade for another 2-credit course, when you average, it is 3. Because A course 4, C course 2, then the average is 3. So like that, we calculate the grade point average. For you to get an MSc, you have to maintain a 3-point grade point average. 3-point grade point average. But every course you register, you must pass. Every course you register, you must pass. And pass means 2 or above. 2 or above. But if you have this 2 or 2.3, 2 or 2.3, that will reduce your GPA. So if you have a 2 and a 4, then you are okay because your average is 3. If you have a 2 and next course you have 3.3, then the average is less than 3. And at the end, somehow you have to maintain 3.3. So the pass mark is 2, but the GPA cutoff at the end should be 3. So if you get a C, you can do another time. You can do another time and upgrade it to like a B or something. All these instructions are in the student handbook. And let me go to the student handbook. Like it is like this way. You can go to the web. I just don't want to go to the web right now. And the PGIA student handbook, all the new rules and everything is updated there. How to apply, how to pay the registration fee, what are all the courses available, all the degree programs, and what is a repeat exam, what is a makeup exam,
what is the non-refundable deposits, how to do the comprehensive examinations, and how to register for research, and what are the progress presentations, and what is happening in the thesis defense examinations. All that information. All that information is in a small book like this one. This whole book, the updated one with colors and everything, is now in the web. You can type PGIA student handbook. You say PGIA student handbook, and you can read. Please read. Many students don't read, and they ask all kinds of student requests, all kinds of requests in a very stupid manner, and sometimes very frustrating. They don't know how to write. They sometimes don't even write the registration number, phone number, any contact number, go to study or anything. So that's why we have prepared this request form. This request form is also online in the website. If you have any kind of a formal request to make, write your name clearly. If you have a registration number, write it. If you have a temporary number, write it. If you know you go to study with the food science or stat, write it. If you are in the degree program, write it. If you have a mobile number, write it, so that at least we know, and put the date and put the signature. At least we know what you are doing. Then when you are writing your problem, write in proper English or get the help of somebody so that we know exactly what your problem is. Some people don't know how to write, and you cannot believe some students' requests are not, they are worse than the requests from the laborers. And these are master's level students, but some of them don't know even how to make a request. So please get the help from somebody, or at least try to write in a way that we can understand the question. So you can write and sign and submit to the PGIE. Or you can send an email to me. If it is very difficult for you to come and to submit, you can send an email to me. But if anyone is sending an email, just say what is your registration number, what is your name, which board of study, which program, what is your content. Please put those things. Otherwise, I have no idea what you are, whether you are even in Colombo intake, I don't know. Very difficult. Some students are really bad at this. Be professional, improve yourself, take it to the next level. What is a valid medical certificate? If you cannot come for the examination or something, then you have to, if it is a medical issue, then you have to give a medical certificate. We do not accept like Ayurveda-like certificates. It has to be obtained from a DMO or from a medical officer in the health center, from Peradina, or maybe a consultant medical specialist, or from a head of a government-based hospital. So try to get a valid certificate. Otherwise, just doing this something silly kind of a medical certificates are useless. And the exceptional certificates, medical certificates issued by the registered private medical practitioners may be considered by the medical board. Otherwise, if you submit like from some Ayurvedic person or something, when we send your medical to our health center, our chief medical officer in the health center may reject it. So we have to consider them as a different. So try to send the medical something. Otherwise, we think you have not set properly. Then you are doing a repeat exam. When you are doing a repeat exam, maximum grade you get is B. When you are sitting as a repeat exam, maximum grade you get is B. So that is the situation. So these are the numbers that I have tried to give you. This is Mr. Kumar's number. These are the note 8 numbers are our official numbers. So Miss Swarna is the one, once you register, Miss Swarna is the one who are really handling your files and submitting your request to the boards of study, and then getting the decision and communicating with you. So this is a number. Mr. Kumar is doing everything before registration, before getting into MIS. Mr. Hemaj is our computer person. These people have Mr. Damanpal is our deputy registrar.
And these people have master's degrees. They are qualified graduates already. They have postgraduate qualifications. Our assistant registrar also have postgraduate qualifications. Our accountant, the senior assistant bursar also have postgraduate qualifications. So you can talk to them accordingly. Our course coordinator, that means the person who is all the time students are talking to this person, the PGIE coordinator, and that person had an accident very recently. You may have seen on TV, and she passed away very recently. So we need to set up somebody. She was also the food science coordinator. So I need to arrange somebody else now as the food science coordinator. We will inform you. And so I need to talk to somebody else who is available right now to act as a food science coordinator. For both STAT and food science, both, I think that is helpful for Colombo program. So talk to these people, and there are this DR, my one is DIR, this is DR, PJACF. So talk to those people and feel free to contact them. Sometimes they may be busy, but you can keep trying and get the problem solved. If you cannot, then send me an email. And I will, when you send me an email, send you a mobile number also so that I can answer. Okay, so on ground or online, then everything depends on you. Whether lectures will be conducted on ground. A lot of teachers want the lectures to be conducted on ground. They think that's the best way to interact with the students. Even when a student is doing a calculation or having a bad handwriting or making mistakes in their notes, we can see and we can tell, you are writing it wrong, you are doing the calculation wrong, and this is wrong, that is wrong, this diagram is wrong. But everything, when you look at, we can tell. But when you are in, and we can interact with you, and based on, we can get down to your level, based on the answers you give to the questions, we can detour, or we can go even spend little extra time and develop the whole thing interactively. And you can interact with other people and share and be in touch with everybody and share the notes. But when you are doing online, many people are in all these different places. And you know, like if I ask now for you to, unmute, you will be surprised. Like some people are very close to some roads, so sometimes fighting at home, sometimes some people are crying, sometimes babies are crying, all kinds of information, sometimes sick people at home. This is, we cannot do anything about it, but this is your life. But you have to make sure that you are in an environment conducive to online education. Otherwise, you must come here. All the teachers would love to see you here at the PGIE. Now, in your case, you want, if you are coming on ground, it will be at the KDU. But right now, due to these issues, we are doing online. But online has advantages. It means like you have the convenience to have your own cup of coffee or tea. No need to wait for the buses, and you can attend to some other things in between and during the breaks, and you can manage or juggle with 2-3 things together. But the bad thing is sometimes power cuts are there, sometimes the signals are not clear. The environment is noisy, a lot of distractions. All these things are there. So there's advantages and disadvantages. So you have to make sure that if the home is not a good place to study, try to find your workplace or somewhere. Whether on Saturday, whether you can open the office and you can go there, or go to a friend's home, somewhere which is quieter, or go to a library with some the mobile and some earphones, so that you can be quieter and you can study. See whether you can arrange something like that, a place where they have Wi-Fi, where you can then use that Wi-Fi to so that you can save your own data. So a lot of these things you need to have. You have to have this WhatsApp group or some kind of a group where you can have all these discussions. Everybody may have the same issues with certain teachers and things. So keep this one. So we have to understand the PJJ system. You have to get to know that course, your course coordinator person, and talk to that person, and if possible, at least visit at least once to PGIE and get to know these people personally, so that they know you, and come around and hang around the university, and get to know what is happening, where the show counter is, where the convocation is, and everything. So please read the prospectus. We have something called a big book called the PJD prospectus, and that is in the web. The real updated one is in the web. It looks a little bit like this, and it's a big book. It's a big book, and which has a lot of beautiful photographs and everything about different studies and programs. It is in the web. You can just see it after my presentation. My presentation is going to be over pretty soon, because I think I have now answered all the questions of the students. And we have talked for about 3 hours now, so it's about 1 hour, 1 o'clock, and I have a class at 1 o'clock. And we are very busy on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm here on all 7 days, most of the weeks. Because Saturday, Sunday I have classes, and other Fridays I work here. So we check email every day, sometimes at least 2-3 times a day, and so you can send communicate with us. So this student handbook, at least the first few pages, the courses and things, the details about all the courses, course capsules and things are in the middle. But the first pages like please read. First pages like up to here. They are all about the general regulations, all about online resources, absence for comprehensive thesis defense examination, submission of thesis, the effective dates of the degrees, the ad hoc periods, transfer of credits, the GPA, how the GPA is calculated, what do you mean by incomplete grades, non-credit courses, audited courses, all this information is there. So the minimum requirement for the courses, all these things are there. All that information is there. Please read. Please be responsible. When you are like in on ground, you may be like one group. So even when one person brings the information, others get to know very quickly. But when you are on far away, now that doesn't happen. So don't say like, I thought this, I thought that. All the information is given. The calendar of dates are given, and so the deadlines are given. If you are not sure, ask the teachers clearly. Maintain one person like a batch rep for your own MSc program. Somebody very responsible, somebody who can be accessible, somebody who is keeping everything in track. Sometimes somebody who knows the teacher, maybe the person who graduated from the agriculture faculty here in Peradini, who knows the teachers and their personalities and their work schedules very well. So get to know, keep somebody as a like an organizer of the group or monitor or batch representative or somebody who is responsible and who will contact with the teacher about common questions and inform the students. So we all can communicate with that person. That makes it a lot easier. So check your MIS. We send the text messages sometimes. When you give them a phone number, give the correct phone number. Make sure you are getting the messages. If others are getting, you are not getting, check with Mr. Hemajit and get everything corrected, like your email, everything corrected. Otherwise, they will bounce back. So you stay connected. You have the whole team, and hope like we can one day we can all come on ground and we can meet with each other, all the teachers and this one, and this network is very useful, because all these people, once they graduate, they will go out to different places, and soon they will become like assistant directors, deputy directors, AGMs, general managers, director generals, some people like that. They go up because the others retire and they move up the ladder, so you go up. So when you go to get work done from different other places, this networking is important. If you know that person in the totally other ministry or the company or somewhere, if you know them because they were at the PGI with you together, it is very easy to get some job done, or get the information done, or get the surveys done, or get your research done, or get your permission, even for your family life and your land disputes and all the other things. Like whenever I go to this the secretariat or some other places, I sometimes find my own students working there, and so that it becomes very easy. When if you go to passport office or any other place, this networking, if you know these people, it's very easy. So the PGI is a nice place. Unfortunately, for this year, we may be able to bring people on ground, maybe not. And although you are in Colombo intake, we are going to have our PGIA day, which is where all the students get together in Peradini grounds and compete with each other, like board study-wise competitions. There cricket matches, volleyball matches, tug of war, and all the other fun things are there. Then we have the followed by the night and with the music. And so this we have the atmosphere for all these different boards to interact with each other. And we will invite the KDU group as well, because we are not a different group, the same PGIA, same group, just doing in a different place. So try to drop by here anytime and introduce yourself and get to know the system. And just don't stay like lackadaisical, don't stay lethargic, just don't stay passive. You may have been like that in the undergraduate time, but this is your second life. This is your second chance. This is a time for you to really show your colors. And now you are in a track where this is very useful for you. Whether this is the subject that you like, so get the best out of this one and see whether you can even move further to do even higher degrees for this one. So that's all. So the honesty is very important, academic honesty. The plagiarism, like things are really bad. We don't want you to copy the homeworks and give. What happens is like when you copy, you are the only one. You are the only one who are getting. You are in a state of lack of knowledge. So when you go out, the knowledge is power. Knowledge is recognition. Knowledge is the respect. And so try to be a decent human being. Try to be somebody who we can be proud of saying, like, yeah, we know that person. She is my student, or he is my student. Like that, we should be able to be proud. Like even if you go abroad for PhD or something and come back and drop by, and we usually, like with many students, we establish lifelong relationships. We inculcate that, and when they, even after finishing the degree, when they try to do some research or when they get a job, they still, many students come and get advice from the teachers, because they know the teachers personally, and they know the personalities, and they still get there. Sometimes they do research jointly. Sometimes when we have undergraduate student, you are working in a place. So when we have an undergraduate student, we want to do a final year project, we send it to you. So you are the co-supervisor and I am the supervisor. So like that, you can publish and you can move on continuously rather than getting stagnated. So you are your own enemy and you are your own helper. And we are only to guide you and help you, but unless you get up, unless you drink water, we cannot make you drink water. So stay in touch, and if you have any issue, please don't hesitate to contact us. We may be busy, we may be late in replying, but that means we are so busy. We have so many things going on, thousands of students, and thousands of different things that we need to deal with more than 300 teachers. And like comprehensive exams, we handle individual student. Individual student has their own exams. So you can see like how busy we are. But we attend to all your questions. We love to have you here because that is the mandate of the PGIA. PGIA mandate is human manpower development for agriculture, for allied sectors, all the allied sectors like
nursing and all the medical people, where this food and nutrition like things are very useful. Physiotherapy, all these kind of people are there who are working, who are getting benefited by this one. So the country is getting benefited, your family is getting benefited, you are getting benefited, your institution is getting benefited, your company is getting benefited. So these all positive things that you did. So you took the wise decision, you took the right decision to come in here, while some of your friends are delaying or not doing any postgraduate at all. You took the right decision, and it will be, you will have obstacles, but that is how when you go through a forest or climb uphill, that is when it is a flat land, easy, but you are not going up. Climbing uphill is difficult, but you are going up. So don't get frustrated. This is a challenge, but climbing uphill is a challenge, but every time you are up, you have more energy, more potential energy, and you will be seen by other people. You will be noticed by other people, and you will be regarded highly by other people, and even your children. The little ones will see you as a different person, and they will try to follow you. So you have a right to push your children to study, because they can see that you are also studying, and you are setting an example for them and setting the barrier high. So good luck with everything, and I'm so happy that we have about still about 68 people, 70 people here joining. Some others may have had some issues, but that means you have an issue. If you have some issues, that means you have your connection issues and everything already. That means you have to sort those things out. If you think that this orientation is useless and some problem, then you have to sort that out, because that is your attitude. And then if you have to attend to your office work, that means it's something you have to sort it out, because you cannot go on like that. Some teachers are really serious, very dedicated, very serious, but they expect the same level of commitment from all the students. So if you have any other question, you can ask. If you don't want to ask, you can put it in the chat box. I will give you 1 minute for you to ask any questions. Otherwise, we will stop the orientation here. If the orientation goes for 4 or 5 hours, that will become boring. But I think right now, you will learn through working through the system, you will learn. So I don't want to tell everything, every little thing, but right now your main issue is payments and getting into MIS, getting the registrations, and knowing whether online or on ground. These are the main issues that you have. So with time, whenever you have issues, we will sort out as they come. So I'm not getting any more chats. So I think everybody is happy with what they got. So please keep our contact numbers, and you can communicate with us anytime. If you have any issues, you can communicate with us. Feel free to communicate. Sometimes our people like Mr. Kumar may be busy, but they will attend to you. So thank you very much, everybody.